Good evening. Jamaica recorded one additional COVID-19 related death yesterday, January 5, taking the death toll from the virus to 306. The deceased is a 31-year-old male from Hanover. Meanwhile, there were 84 new cases ranging in age from 3 to 90 years, taking the total of cases to 13,330, of which 1,682 are active. Now, of the 84 newly reported cases, there were 34 males and 50 females, ranging in age from 3 to 90 years. Clarendon and St. Catherine recorded 18 new cases each, while Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Anne both registered 17 new cases. St. Thomas and St. Mary recorded 3 cases each. Manchester, Portland, and Trelawney recorded 2 cases each, and Hanover and St. James both recorded 1 new case each. In the meantime, there were 76 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recoveries to 11,182. 92 persons are in hospital, 4 of whom are moderately ill and 7 critically ill. No one is currently in government quarantine. However, 26,034 persons are at home. In the meantime, the Maxwell Park Children's Home located in Kingston has reported that 12 caregivers have tested positive for COVID-19. The facility currently has 92 children and 80 caregivers. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, in a statement yesterday, outlined that following visits to the facility by the public health team of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, MOHW, between December 13 and 30, 2020, 74 caregivers and 92 children were tested. No child tested positive. Arrangements have been made for the remaining caregivers to be tested. All caregivers who tested positive were asymptomatic and have since been sent home to self-isolate. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, which monitors the Maxwell Park Children's Home, has been in dialogue with its board and management, as well as the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Now, the home has been adhering to COVID-19 protocols, including temperature checks conducted 3 times daily, identification of isolation spaces, sanitization stations placed at strategic points, and the mandatory wearing of masks. Going forward, the MOHW says in partnership with the CPFSA, they will be taking steps to protect the children. The CPFSA continues to work with the MOHW to follow all necessary protocols and procedures across all children's homes island-wide. We go now to news from St. James, where law enforcement officers have charged 8 persons for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act in connection with an illegal party held after the stipulated curfew hours in Providence Heights in the parish on January 2. Charged are Nelia Anderson, 18, of Tivoli Gardens, Kingston, 14. Chrysante Campbell, 23, of Mackenzie Drive, Flanker. Casey Ann Lewis, 22, of Norwood. Denisha Haddo, 29, of Providence Heights. Shanique Wade, 25, of Yallas in St. Thomas. Jody Ann Campbell, 30, of Flanker. Noah Leslie, 21, of Flanker. And Myber Stad, 22, of Providence Heights. Their court dates are being finalized. Meanwhile, as crime and violence plagues communities even since the beginning of the year, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, during this morning's 2021 National Prayer Breakfast, says the government has a comprehensive plan to secure Jamaica.
It's a comprehensive plan. We have invested in the last 4 years over $40 billion. That's more than has been invested in the last 15 years in our national security architecture. So we have put money into the hardware of national security. You are seeing all the new bikes, you are seeing all the new vehicles. They all have trackers in them. We are putting in place new software systems, new communication systems, cameras for our policemen, new patrol boats, new surveillance aircrafts, new helicopters. We have spent significantly on equipping our security forces, the hardware. We have invested heavily as well in the software, meaning our training, which we have expanded, particularly in the Jamaica Defense Force with the National Service Corps. We have put in place new legislation to treat with communities that are violence prone, communities that are captured by gangs, the zones of special operations, and several other pieces of legislation to come that will improve the control of illegal firearms. We're considering amendments to the Bail Act. We are improving how the security forces are run and how they operate.
The Prime Minister also pointed out that his government will never sanction extrajudicial action as part of their crime-fighting strategy.
That this government, though there are those in our society who would say, take off the gloves when you're dealing with the criminals. Our crime-fighting strategy, this government will never sanction extrajudicial action by our security forces. And if we even smell it or dream it, that it is happening within the security force, we are going to act. And we have acted to ensure that we have a security force that uses force within the law and uses force without violence. A security force that respects the rights of the citizens, even the rights of the criminals. And you are seeing that in the low levels of police killings that you're having. We're still having a problem with how the citizen and the security forces relate to each other. You see the videos circulating where there is this aggression between the citizen and the police, and it makes it very difficult to do public order policing in particular. But over time, we hope that with improved training and improved communication, we will have better relations. Because make no mistake, the security forces is our last defense against the criminals.
Mr. Holness added that the work of the security forces in assisting with the COVID-19 pandemic has shown that their value goes beyond fighting crime.
The value of our security forces, you would see, is not just in fighting crime, but they have been very helpful, integral, and essential in managing the pandemic. There is no action that we could have taken as a government to manage the pandemic without the security forces front and center. And they have had to do this while manning SOEs, manning zones of special operations, doing their public order operations, and increasing their investigative capacity. Never before in the history of Jamaica has the police force brought so many cases before the courts. Because that is what policing is supposed to do.
We go to news from St. Mary now, as law enforcement officers assigned to the Port Maria Police have arrested and charged a mother and daughter with conspiracy to murder, as well as the murder of 26-year-old Jerome Forrester, otherwise called Mophead of Tank Lane, Oracabessa. He was killed in his community by his relatives on December 25. Charged are 63-year-old Leverana Forrester, otherwise called Gemage, and 32-year-old Anne-Marie Forrester, otherwise called Pinky, both of Tank Lane, Oracabessa. Now, on Monday, December 28, Jerome was reported missing by his sister, and a search was launched. The next day, a partially decomposing, dismembered body was found in knitted bags behind the family's yard. Now, investigators believe that Forrester's mother and sister conspired and killed him. Both women were arrested on December 29, 2020, and later charged following an interview. Their court dates are being finalized. In other news tonight, The Hunts Bay police say they have seized one Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 9 9mm cartridges on East Road on Monday, January 4. 4 men were taken into custody in connection with the seizure. Now, reports coming into our news center are that at approximately 7:25 a.m., a team of officers signaled the driver of a white Toyota Axio motor car to stop. The driver disobeyed. The police team pursued the vehicle and it was intercepted and the men were held. The team subsequently searched the vehicle and found the firearm and ammunition. The men's identities are being withheld as detectives continue their investigations. Still making news tonight, 18-year-old Preston Evans, otherwise called Zazu of Georgia Street, Kingston 13, has been charged with murder. This following an incident on Tawari Crescent, Kingston 13 on December 25, 2020. Now deceased is 21-year-old Romaine Atkinson, a construction worker of Tawari Crescent, Kingston 13. Reports from the Denham Town Police coming into our news center are that at approximately 2:20 p.m., Atkinson was at home when he was allegedly pounced upon by Evans, who shot him several times. Atkinson was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Evans was arrested and subsequently charged on Monday, January 4. His court date is being finalized. Still making Mello TV news tonight. Earlier today, residents of Greenwood and their councillor staged a demonstration outside the St. James Municipal Corporation building in the parish, seeking help to rectify flooding due to work being done by a developer in the community. Councillor for the Rose Hall Division, Anthony Murray, explained that what the developer is doing is causing residents' homes to be flooded, which is why he joined the residents in staging a peaceful demonstration.
And this morning, the residents of the Greenwood community are here at the Municipal Corporation, voicing their concern as relates to an incident, a situation that is here where a drain that takes water away from the community. What the developer has been doing is to dump that drain so that he can get access to his property from the drain. It's actually a drain that carries water constantly, which is causing the community to be flooded. And he was notified. When he started, we placed a stop order and asked him to cease and desist from SIM. The corporation has served notice, the NEPA has served notice, but this person seems to not comply with these notices. He continued to dump, and what he is doing now is actually erecting a perimeter fence in the drain, and that is unacceptable. That cannot be allowed. And so it is affecting the residents thoroughly and badly, in which they are, when it rains, the recent rains we had last month, the entire community was flooded. The matter has been in discourse.
Councillor Murray is also asking the necessary agencies to intervene to bring about a speedy resolution to the situation.
And so the action of the resident this morning, I'm in support of it. Actions need to be done, and where we have inaction, we need to get some action done by different authorities. The council itself needs to step up. The NEPA itself and the NWA, which is an NWA drain, needs to ensure that the drain is clean and maintained, because it takes water away from the community into the sea. And the Greenwood is an area that is below sea level, and that drain cannot be blocked. So I am in full support this morning in solidarity of the residents of Greenwood. I'm the representative, and I'm going to be joining them this morning to ensure that this action and this drain is clear and the persons can live in peace.
Now, residents Clifford Holmes and Everald Prout want the development to stop immediately, as it is distracting the community.
When we first start the building, or when they first start to do the work out there, we went and asked them what the procedure with this building. They said they get the go-ahead from the parish council to build this place, which was totally not right, because there should be two service roads when the highway was building. One over on the right and left hand side to the petrol station, and one on the right hand side. And they didn't go through, they stopped it down there. And this is what happened now. The people who on that side, they didn't have a service road, and it cost through the parish council. If not, this would not happen now. So basically what really happened now, this chap who buy this place, He just bought it 2 years ago. I questioned him. I said, how long did you buy that place? He said, 2 years ago. So he didn't know much about what was going on. And therefore, we keep protests. And he insists that he's not going to stop. He's going to continue with it. And this is what causes this problem now. Because we got to look about ourselves, because guess what? When it's rain, the water won't be get to going across, and then it's going to come back on us. And then we're going to start getting flooded out. So this is why we want it to stop, and stop now, because it's wrong.
Just want to add my voice to these folks here who are protesting about the just wanton destruction of our community, that we have a drain that leads into a culvert and goes under Greenwood Main Road, which has been blocked, and it's flooding some streets that people live on. And it's kind of unbelievable that people would take these kind of actions without considering other folks who live there.
President of the Greenwood Citizens Association and operator of the Greenwood Plaza, Madge Neil Burnett, along with her son Trevor Burnett, explained why they joined in the demonstration.
We've been dialoguing with him for a long time now, and he's not doing anything. We wrote letter to Parish Council, we wrote letter to NEPA, we wrote all kind of letter, and we're not getting any response. So today we decided to come out and let everybody see then what is happening, because we just want the drain to be open, because people cannot go in their house when it rains. The water is about 4 feet high. Some people definitely can't go inside of them house, and it affecting my showroom too. We have to be using forklift to take people across and pallets. So it is very bad. We cannot put up with it anymore. We need the government to intervene.
I think it's a very selfish and cruel act. We have tried to meet with the landowners on several attempts to see how best we can, have the situation rectified and have the drain be, put back in place. But, it's pointless. I think he's above the law. He has no regards for the authority. The citizens in the community are very, very unhappy. They can't go in, they can't come out. The mosquitoes are on the rise. The guy's actually building his wall in the drain. We have written to the different entities. We have written to the Parish Council. We have written to NEPA and NWA, and we still have not have the problem rectified. So we are here today to see how best we can, make Jamaica see and know what happened to you out there.
Now, attempts to reach the developer were unsuccessful. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. Continuing with the news tonight, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports has gifted a bus to the Accompong Maroons to assist with transportation challenges being faced by members of the historic community. The Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, the Honourable Olivia Grange, handed over the vehicle to the Colonel of the Accompong Town Maroons, Farron Williams, earlier this week. Now, Minister Grange said, quote, "This handing over of the bus is a symbol of the government's appreciation and the government's recognition and respect of the Accompong community and all Maroon communities in Jamaica," end quote. Now, the bus will be used to transport members of the Accompong community in St. Elizabeth, including performers and members of the leadership who have to attend important Maroon events across the island. Colonel Williams said the bus will help Accompong to significantly cut costs. Colonel Williams praised the Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, and Minister Grange for the donation on behalf of the government of Jamaica to the Accompong Maroons. Colonel Williams said Minister Grange has been a great supporter of Accompong. He described Minister Grange as the mother of Accompong, saying, quote, "We don't have Nanny in Accompong. Nanny was with the Windward Maroons in Portland, but soon and very soon we might just have to adopt Minister Grange as Nanny," end quote. And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.